racing here, and we're on the start here. We've got the race underway here. Georgetown on the lead here in lane number 2. Hoya's doing a nice job here out in front. So we're just going through the lanes really quick here as we're up above. Georgetown, Princeton in 3, Navy in 4, Harvard in 5, Cornell in 6, and Dartmouth out in lane number 7. So Georgetown, these guys, this is the top group from Georgetown. Georgetown's lightweight 8 didn't make it in. So the top 4 guys for Georgetown lightweights racing this one. Really strong push and start from Georgetown, from the Hoyas, looking good off the start line here.
There's a four-boat pack right behind them, so there's a lot of parity, of course, even more so when you talk about people who are all pretty much the same size.
Yeah, so it's a good, tightly packed group here. We're going to see kind of the same thing. It looks like Georgetown's out comfortable in front here to start the race, but we're going to see some challenges going on for those other medal positions here in this lightweight varsity 4. We've got Georgetown on the lead here. He's trying to separate out this field. It's going to be tough to call for second place between these 3 crews right behind them there. That would be Princeton, and it looks to be Harvard and Cornell, all right tightly packed together there. Maybe Cornell getting into that solid. Yeah, it looks like right now, as we see off the race course buoys, it does look like Cornell is ahead of Harvard and Princeton. So Georgetown clear of those other crews, but we've got a pretty good race going on and developing back behind them, with Navy just still overlapping by half a length with Harvard and Princeton here. They're handling these conditions pretty well, but Fred, out on the water, it looks like Georgetown's handling it the best of all of these guys.
Yes, indeed, Steve-O. 7:50 in, and it is Georgetown, but Cornell on the inside's having a nice row, and Princeton's come up a bit, so it's really tightly packed. Harvard, Princeton are level. Navy's about a half a length back of Princeton and Harvard, with Dartmouth trailing. But the big red on the inside, I can tell because they have red cap on in the bow pair. That's a big help. They're making a big push, and they're pushing Georgetown really hard right here. Princeton had come up in that third spot, the bronze spot right now, coming up to the 1,000-meter pole. Still the Hoyas, they jumped out very quickly in the first 1,000, but Cornell is starting to track them down. We'll pull back just a little bit to get the margin. Cornell bow on Hoya's 3-man, it looks like. So still 2/3 of a length for the Hoyas. Harvard in that bronze spot, their bow on the Cornell stroke. And then Princeton, but just narrowly ahead of Navy. The Hoyas really lifting the shoulders at the finish, trying to send that boat back, send it. And it's working so far. Good bite at the front end, good hang, and good send. Come up just a little bit, get a little more perspective on the margins, but the rate, so far at least, I thought Cornell was going to make a run at the Hoyas. They still may, but they're a length off right now of the Hoyas. We'll see. It's all about pace. Who is pacing themselves correctly, particularly in a longer race? You know, are you paying too much of a price at the beginning to get that lead, and then you get tracked down in the last 500? Princeton's trying to make a move on Harvard here now in the third 500. Princeton's trying to get into that bronze spot. Harvard definitely saw the Princeton move, and they're answering, but it's Princeton inching ahead of Harvard into bronze. Yep, the Tigers have just taken third away from Harvard. Getting ready to send it to the tower. It's Cornell firmly in second, with Princeton making a big push. Over to you, Dave, Linda, and Steve.
All right, so here we are. We've got that Georgetown crew out front, Harvard and Princeton battling for that final medal position. Cornell in a solid silver here. We saw Harvard really kind of, Princeton move back up into them, but then it looked like a little bit of a bobble stroke there from Princeton to lose some of that momentum they were carrying into the last 500 there.
And what a fabulous shot. Then we can just get a sense of how much margin Georgetown has been able to build really off the start and now through the closing stages of the racing. The battle for the podium, though, continues on. Cornell still holding their own. Will it be Princeton? Will it be Harvard? Lightweight racing, so exciting to watch. It's, oftentimes incredibly close, and that's certainly true at the national championship, no doubt.
But Georgetown, what a good piece they've put together. They got that good start. They were out front, and then they've just kind of kept that momentum and kept moving away from the field, keeping the other crews in check. Cornell was a little bit off the start, but then they came back through Harvard and Princeton's kind of kept doing this where they've nudged back into Harvard and then fallen back and kept it going where they just keep trying to take it, but they don't quite get up to them here. So going to be a tight race down to the finish line for Harvard and Princeton, but Cornell in that solid silver, Georgetown way out in front for the medals. The Hoyas got to be looking pretty excited to come into this IRA race here, do a great time trial yesterday for the Hoyas, and then putting it together here in the grand final. So nice work by Georgetown to come through the line here. Gold medal for Georgetown, the lightweight varsity 4. Cornell in second, Harvard in third for that bronze. Princeton in fourth, Navy in fifth. So tightly packed that second through fifth place here. And here comes Dartmouth in that final position of the lightweight varsity 4s here. So nice push there. The men from Georgetown got to be pretty happy with how they performed in both that time trial to earn that top spot into the final, and then how they executed in this grand final here. So that's a national championship in the lightweight 4 for Georgetown. So a nice push here by the Hoyas to wrap up their 2023 season. We've got a few more finals coming up for you on the day. We've got the second finals. We got the Division III Varsity 8.